So by far, the most commonly received comments I get on my videos fall into one of three categories. Something about my hair, something about my mustache, or something about the way I say this word. I say aboot, most North Americans say about. To figure out why, let's take a fascinating look at the world of Canadian accents. The way I talk is a particularly strong example of what people who study this sort of thing call the Canadian raising phenomenon. This refers to the weird way many Canadians pronounce the ow sound in words like house and down and round and south. Ugh, it even sounds annoying to me. The idea is that Canadians have a tendency to raise their tongues in their mouths when they make ow sounds, as I just did right then when I said mouth, instead of mouth, which is when you keep your tongue down lower in your mouth. Mouth, 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 mouth. Not all Canadians speak with Canadian raising, and certainly most don't do it as much as I do, but it is a pretty common phenomenon, as you can see in this montage of clips of random Canadians talking I've assembled.
Are all very unhappy about this. I am absolutely unhappy about it as well.
Stressed out, but don't worry about it, because here's what's going to happen. We're going to get drunk and eat chicken fingers. Me, you, and the old man is going to be here in about 20 minutes.
A matter of planning, and of course being a mom is all about routine.
Well, think about it. 10 years ago, the price of gold was maybe $300 an ounce.
Oh.
So you see, some Canadians say it about, some Canadians say it more like a boat, some people say it somewhere in the middle of those two, and of course lots just say it the normal way, about. But what's weird is that I feel a lot of Canadians are very inconsistent about this. I get a lot of teasing from my fellow Canadians because I say aboot instead of about, but I notice a lot of people say route instead of route, and no one seems to care. I blame South Park, which made the whole aboot thing this big funny joke.
The fuss is about taking our citizens. It's about not censoring our art. It's about what's so goddamn funny?
And made life tough for Canadians like me, who now seem very obnoxiously stereotypical. There's more to Canadian accents than just the pronunciation of one word, however. Like any country, Canadian accents vary a great deal depending on class and region. Most Canadians are probably pretty familiar with this sort of stereotypical lower class Canadian accent, which is kind of the sort of twangy, you know, right? There's this Canadian comedy rap group called B and Steve, and they make YouTube videos where they sing with this kind of accent, and it's pretty funny, as you can see here.
Before we learn to walk, we can cross-check properly. Just rockin' plaid jackets, chainsaws, we operate them right. Fucking A-right we do, bud. We cut our weight in firewood.
This is, of course, the same accent that was famously mocked in those Great White North segments of SCTV back in the day.
Oh, so that's our topic for today, the Great White North. So, good day.
What an education, eh?
Now, the most famous regional accent of Canada is the accent of people who live in the far eastern Atlantic provinces of Canada, particularly Newfoundland. This region of Canada was originally settled by a lot of Gaelic-speaking people from Scotland and Ireland, and to this day, their accent still has a sort of Irish twinge to it, as we can see in this montage of Newfoundland people talking.
That stay is solid, and he's able to incrementally increase. I mean, you could end up with a minority Harper government. You know, that would be the worst possible thing.
If you're looking at crew changes, they depend on moving a crew out of here. Some of those people are 3 and 4 days late.
When I arrived at the airport, there was approximately 3 RCMP cars here. And what they were doing here, I had no idea, but I knew there had to be something up. They weren't out here picking up fares.
If you've seen the movie A Series of Unfortunate Events, you may recognize this as also being the accent that noted Canadian actor Jim Carrey used when he was playing the sea captain guy.
Oh, that there was all my fault. Hey, well, I can't tell you how sorry I is for running into your sister there like that.
Newfoundland people also have a habit of using a lot of weird Newfoundland slang, which when coupled with their accent can make them really hard to understand, as satirized in this Nissan commercial.
They say an X-Trail Bonavista. Take a gander at that pen roof, buddy. If that don't put a gust in your spinnaker, I don't know what would. And look at the wheels on her. Got enough alloy in there to fill a bucket.
Now, a lot of French Canadians speak English as their second language, so they obviously have a French accent, but the sort of French accent they have is quite different than the sort of accent French people from France have. In France, people with strong French accents tend to substitute T sounds for Z sounds, so words like this and that and those become zis and zat and zos. In Canada, where French is spoken in a sort of more nasally way, French accents tend to use harder D sounds, so dis and dat and those. See if you can notice the difference.
This description might seem unfair for the previous generation, but keep in mind that I am not really criticizing the people.
We want 4 things in the throne speech. We want to clarify this issue about Afghanistan. It's so important. It's really important for us. The other one is we have a bill.
Of course, in this era of television and the internet, more and more North Americans are starting to lose their regional or class-based accents altogether. Researchers now often speak of standard American English or the general American accent, which is this sort of bland, plain accent you tend to hear from newscasters and actors and anybody else who doesn't want to seem exotic or interesting. As more and more young people are taught to believe that accents are something embarrassing or hickish, you're starting to see entire generations speak exactly the same way. Entire countries too. Check out this montage of young Canadians and Americans and see if you can tell who comes from which country.
If you really want to get in a company that requires more experience, you have a one-up on everyone else that's applying.
With what they give us in my program in particular, like we don't get any seminars or anything like that. It's all lab and lecture.
And I just try to be as versatile as possible. Whatever the team needs, I try to do it. So if they need me at the 5, I'd like to be in the 5.
I'm in kinesiology, and a lot of kin is mostly memorization, which is what I'm used to, which is what I'm good at.
It was a trick, they're all Canadians. Hard to tell though. Eh?